Hello, my name is Waverly Matthews. I'm curator of the Off Broadway Gallery here at Pine Street Church, located in downtown Boulder, Colorado. I'd like to introduce you to an artist who's going to be part of an upcoming exhibit. The exhibit is Windows to the Ethereal, the Art of Leo Bumbakini and SaToro Tafura. And we have Leo Bumbakini with us today. Included in that exhibit is going to be his photography series titled The Passenger. The exhibit runs February 6th through February 27th, and there's an artist reception on Friday, February 11th from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. So I hope I see you there. Well, I'd like to give just a brief introduction to Leo, and then I'm going to let him introduce himself. I'm going to ask him a couple questions, and he can introduce himself to you. Leo Bumbakini is a painter, photographer, mixed media, and performance artist. He was born in Brussels, Belgium, to Congolese academics who fled to Brussels due to political unrest in their homeland. He came to the United States in 2001, but continues to travel extensively throughout the United States, as well as back to Europe and to Central Africa. Leo's work speaks to cultural and individual identity and to the impacts of globalization, environmental degradation, and capitalism. And the exhibit gets its title from a quote that I pulled from Leo's website. He said, "I believe art provides a window into the ethereal, the space between the societal, the physical, and the immaterial." Great quote there. Well, thank you, Leo, for taking a moment out of what you'd rather be doing, and that is creating art. So thank you for being here.
Yeah, no, thanks, Waverly, and thanks for that introduction. I'm excited for the upcoming show at Off Broadway, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited for people to get to interact with the work.
Yeah, well, I'm excited as well. Well, just a couple of questions here. Your father was a philosopher and political activist, and your mother a scholar of art history, focusing on African art. Would you tell us a little bit about their influence on you as a person and as an artist?
My dad, he grew up actually in a very Catholic kind of environment, and he was in a monastery in early adulthood and late teenage years. And he spent a lot of time at the monastery. And from there, he got interested into philosophy and educated himself and went to college in the Congo for such. And then later on decided to start a political party, which ended up getting him, I guess, in a sense, exiled from the Congo because his life was threatened if he stayed there. And then my mother, she was into conserving culture and art because much of our culture in the Bas-Congo or the Congo is spoken language or things that have never been written down or are documented. So her life has been dedicated to actually identifying, different cultures around Africa and writing and making sure that things that are written in books today are actually accurate and are actually speaking about these cultures too. So coming from these two kind of backgrounds definitely influenced my art and why I decided to really go full throttle at creating and getting messages out and educating people in different ways and educating myself. It's a journey for myself as well.
Well, when did you know you wanted to be an artist? How old were you?
Growing up, my mother had me when she was curating her first exhibitions. So I was always around art collectors or art collections or museums in the archives and my mother we lived on one salary for a while when we first moved to America, and she couldn't afford daycare, people to really take care of me. We didn't know that many people either, so I would go to work with her, and the babysitting I got was basically to go sit in front of some sculpture or some painting and to try to make something or create something around that. And so I spent a lot of time just in museums and art art collectors' homes, just kind of drawing and spending time creating. And I think I never thought about really being an artist, but I always created throughout my life. It's never been a gap in my life where I haven't created. And then, as I went to college for politics because on my father's side, as we discussed, it's been politics. So for me, lineage-wise, it was more I guess, acceptable for me to study politics. So I decided to study international affairs. And my uncle at the time was an ambassador to the UN for the Congo. So it felt like something I could really get into. But as I finished school and got into the real world, quote unquote, or the corporate world, I saw that I felt like my use on this earth and my energy wasn't being spent well, and I was feeling that personally and mental health wise, that I need to get back to creating, because there were so many things that I need to get out. So for me, it's just been inertia, I guess. There wasn't a moment where I knew I didn't know, but there was a moment where I decided I'm just gonna do this like 24/7 every day. I'm not gonna do anything else. And that was about that was about 3 years ago now, like almost 3 years ago now, that I really decided to just go full in.
Well, lucky for us then. Yeah, one thing about your artwork, not only is it visually enjoyable to look at, but it is infused with ideas, some of them challenging, and that's what I think makes your art so interesting. And so I'm very excited about people getting to look at it. Last question here. Having seen great art then, in all of these places throughout the United States, you've seen some of the great museums here, but also in Europe and in Africa. What do you think makes a great work of art?
What makes a great work of art? I think there's different levels to that. And for me, it's there's an effect of your frequency when you're viewing it. Right. I think a change in your personal frequency when you're viewing a piece of work is saying that this work has energy to it, and this energy is now impacting me because I'm decoding it. And frequency can be something like, it could be, does it change the way you're thinking about material? Does it change the way you're thinking about space? Does it change the way you're thinking about people or actually ideas? Or is it something that's more emotional? I think that's something that people point to, like paintings like Rothko's, paintings that where you look at and you have this almost ephemeral feeling about them, from the color, from the vibrancy, from the arrangement of the colors. I think Pollock's movements, they give you this, and the color use obviously, but they give you this feeling of otherworldliness that you can only feel within. And I think art allows for conversation. Good art allows for great conversations and lifelong generational conversations. So, I think that's what I don't, when I'm making work, I don't, I think Basquiat was like something like, I don't think about art, I think about life, and I really resonate to that, because when I'm making work, I'm just trying to conceptualize what is this thing that we're living in. It's something that I think, a question that we'll never answer truly, but it's worth exploring.
Thanks. Yeah, your art is definitely conversational. I'm looking forward to some of the conversations I'm going to have throughout this exhibit. So thank you very much for sharing yourself and your art with us. Looking forward to seeing you again on Friday, February 11th.
Yes, looking forward to it. To it.
Thank you, and get back to painting or whatever it is you're creating today.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Waverly.
All right.
See you.